Hello again today. It's Chris FE, and we're looking at another P900 camera. And the problem with this one is a lens error. I've got the card in here and a battery. I'll power it up in a minute. Just look through the camera. It's got a few little dings on it, but nothing major. The rubber here is in pretty poor condition. That needs replacing. It's a bit sticky as well. I think we tried to just stick it down with something. Again, this rubber here is stretched, so it's been used quite a bit. And yeah, it comes up with the lens error. So I'll just show you when you power it on. And it comes up, says lens error. Try again after turning the camera off and on. Now, obviously she drives out, this is where it was originally. I've just put this end cap lens on it for protection and to save the main lens inside. So again, what has to happen would be to switch off, take the back off with the plate and access the gearbox to actually check the gears. So that's the very first thing I'm going to do with this camera, is check the gearbox to make sure it's all good, to see if it's a gear's broken or something. But there doesn't look to be any major damage on the perimeter of the zoom lens housing, so it could be something that's just stuck in there, or like the one I did previously where it was all out of alignment. So once I get everything off and ready to take the gearbox apart, I'll come back with that. Okay. Okay, so the back plate is off with the back cover. Back cover doesn't look too bad inside. There's a bit of grit flying around. Let's see all the dust inside here. It's probably years and years of use. There's actually no serial number on here, so who knows? But it looks just the same as anything else, and as many others. So all the cables are out that I need to get out to get to all the screws for the silver backing plate. And where did I put that plate? Put it somewhere. Where did I put it? Here. So you can see this is all in good order. The cable for the zoom, side zoom mechanism did actually sort of pop in places. So we could have lifted. It's really hard to tell if it had been off before, but there was the lovely little loop at this end which tucks in under here. That was pretty good. So, you know, usually they're a bit either too long or whatever when the cable goes back in. But now I'm going to take the gearbox off, and here's the 3 screws for the gearbox cover, the gearbox cover. There's one. Blind as a bat. And the last one. And then that should just lift off. And as you can see, a tiny little bit of white grease in there, and first indication she doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look. Take this fella out first. Is that okay? Let's have a look at this one in the light. That looks fully populated. That's okay. Pop that in the box for safekeeping. Take the main connection drive out here. Let's have a look at this one. Wow. Now, I think this may have had I've just found, I'm going to take a photograph of this. I've just found a remnant. I'm not sure if you'd be able to see that on the camera. Let's go this way. Let it focus in. There's a remnant of plastic on there which could look like a gear, so that would mean, and there is on here also, let's take this one, yes, so, oh dear, yeah, so this one has had a major, I don't even think I need to take a photograph of this, but this gear, he said, has actually got about 3 teeth missing on it, on the drive there. You'd be able to see it, the shape of it's actually disformed. I'll put it against, I will take a photo of it and insert it here. If you can't see if it's not focusing in, well, and put that, so that's the gear that usually fails, and I will check inside to see if there's any other remnants sitting about. That looks okay. So the other thing to do would be to now manipulate the lens out to see if I can get it to come out, and it should drop under its own weight. Is that me taking, I think that's me taking it home. So that's its home, and I'll bring it out again. There we go, it's dropped to that position. Keep going this way so it'll pop back again, and it should, if it's okay, fall under its own weight. Will that happen? Let's have a look. Oh, let's go, let's take my hand away from that side. And there we are. So that doesn't feel too bad at all. I don't think I can hear anything inside there. So I've got a bit more confidence now that when I put this back together again, she will drive and home in and out. So let's get a new gear. And yeah, this one has actually, it must have taken quite a bit of a jolt. Maybe because I can't see any external damage on the zoom, it's actually gone, you know, bang, straight on the right on the edge. So rather than catching a side or part of it, it's actually gone full face down. Now I have some gearboxes in here. Gearbox gears, I should say, rather. It was I needed. I don't want to go flying everywhere, do I? Right. So, double packed. Oh dear, come on. And there we are. That's the gear I want. Fully populated. So what I'll do is I'll put everything back together again. This one will be down at the bottom here. This one goes in at the top. Thankfully there I caught the camera switching off just in time. And then that third gear there, and that's all the gearbox. So this was the gear underneath here, was the one that had broken on the wider cog, which sits at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the gearbox cover back on, and I will power it up and see how we get on. Put the gearbox cover back on. Bolt that down. I've got it again. I really need to get a different colour screw down the flat blade. And 3. So let's just see for a minute. Now what I've no idea why the camera shut off there. Telling me to raise the flash. I've no idea why, because I'm on scene and I'm recording. Anyway, the back panel's back on for the gearbox. Now when I power this up, I'll only be able to view through the viewfinder. It'll say set date and time. Okay, the camera was playing up because I was out of memory on the card there. So I think the last thing I was saying about getting the back on, and I did power it up, but I did select no. I couldn't select no to save the memory for the date. So that's going to be the first thing that comes up. So I can't be able to show you what it says on the screen. But let's get the battery and put it in just to see if she initializes without the lens error. And then I'll be able to put the back plate back on with the back cover and then power it up. Let's have a look. He says no. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to have to get the cable on first. So let's get the cable on first. Make sure I keep these parts safe. I don't want them falling onto the floor. So yeah, so in auto scene selective, the filming, it just start and then stop on the camera. But when I put it to the camera mode itself and select play or record, it said out of memory. But I didn't get the out of memory until I put it to the snapshot or the camera function. Well, there you are. So I'm going to need my spyglass for this. Can I do it one-handed? He said, let's have a look. Let's get this into here. With really is a bit. I'd rather. Excuse me. A nice bit of. Now this cable's going to have to come out again because I need to get this one out to get the screw back in for the silver, the backing or the grounding plate, for want of a better word. And we'll get make sure I get all the cables I can. I don't need to get the zoom cable in because I'm not putting the base plate on. That's for the flash unit and the fine focus. That's in. And is that lined up? That's lined up pretty good. Plug the battery back in and switch on. Now let's see if she's no, she's asking for the date and time. So there we go. Yeah, it's asking for choose time zone. So I'm going to have to do is just quickly connect the cover, and we'll keep this cable safe. Put that back down inside because I'd like to show it to you in real time to make sure it is only the that gearbox problem. Then I can go ahead and put the back plate or the grounding plate back in. I'll get this one in first. The smaller of the two. Really is a bit. This tab here really gets in the way. This one here really gets in the way, and you really have to be very mindful of that when you're trying to put this smaller cable in. And it makes it hard to see as well. So if I try and get this a little better, would it be better if I put this one in first? It really is. I don't like putting too much stress on this cable. Hobson's choice, as they say. That's definitely not in. close it up, and then this one really is a pain. So a minute while I get this one down, because I'm right there. Please bear with. There's all the difference. Right, so now I've got basically the keyboard and the display connected. Let's get this big line light out of the way. Be very mindful of that zoom cable. That's out of the way. And then put the battery back in. Don't forget, oh, that sounded a bit rough, didn't it? Right, now, don't forget that last clip. If you don't do that last clip, it'll affect the IR sensor or the eye sensor, and the screen will never come up. So if I do this now, switch on. It's reading the card now, I'm sure. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh, it's come up now. If I say, oh, is that me? Yeah. If I say no, and there you've got a picture, and the red light's flashing there to say no date and time set. So if I just close that for a minute and just, she doesn't sound the best. If I switch off, there we go. Now I think we've got another lens error there. No, it's upside down. For whatever reason, it's upside down. Well, that's very strange, isn't it? Let's take the battery out a minute. And it's up the right way now. So that has, I think there was possibly something stuck in the drive, although it didn't feel too bad when I was actually letting it fall under its own weight. As you saw, it did it a bit more. So I think there's something else untoward. Let's try it again. Nope. So I'm going to have to get the gearbox apart again and see if there's any other remnants there. Alright, I'll get back to you once I've got it stripped down again. I'm glad I didn't put the silver plate back in. Well, when you make one thing stronger, I guess another thing is weaker. So on this gear here, which drops down this way, she did break. This was good before, but it must have been slightly weak, and you know, when it was driving with all that inertia, she decided to let go. So that's what the problem was there. So that's another one I'll take a photo of and put up as a inlay so you can actually see the damage to the two gears. This really has taken some force. So what I should have done in hindsight was said yes to the date, and hopefully there's a backup battery. Might be able to see it actually. It sits underneath this board, roughly about inside there, and if that battery goes, it will always lose the date and time, but it will do over a period of time if you've no battery in there. It is a rechargeable, but I guess over a period of time it will completely give out and not hold charge, as with any of these lithium ion little cell batteries. But anyway, I won't bore you with the rest of it. I'll come back when I've got it all together and I'm ready to power up. Okay, so I've got the gearbox plate back in. I was going to put the cover back on, but I just thought I'd give it a quick go. I did save the date and time, just standard, and there she is. She's come on. Drive it out, and yeah, switch off. She'll drive back. I do feel as if she feels, I don't know, is it rougher, or maybe I need to put a little bit of tiny grease inside there. there's more vibration than I like to feel with the camera. But she is working. Let's go to the moon setting. Switch it on first. I'm on scene. I can't go to the moon because I've got no keyboard on there. It's an auto selector. And okay, so it's extended again. And switch it off. See if I'm sure we'll be able to hear that. So from there, I'll get it all back together again, and yeah, let's see how it sounds. I'm going to just put a little bit, tiny little lubrication with those gears because they've obviously gone in dry, and that might be my little vibration. And I'll come back when I've done all that. I can't remember where I last left off. I said I was going to get everything back together again. I've got everything back together again. I've replaced the grip rubbers on this side, that side here and here, and also the thumb grip, which was worn and flapping. Now, one thing I did notice, it is all fully working now. Look, it's quite rigid there. Yeah. And if I power that off, there is another problem with this camera. It is the main screen. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that in the light, but it seems to me, let's see if you can see that. Not sure if you'll be able to, can you see that? Yeah. It looks like the screen at some point has been cleaned with an abrasive cloth or something. It just looks horrid. But obviously when the camera's powered up, you don't really see it on the picture. It certainly doesn't come out on the stored photographs, obviously, but it just looks a bit ungainly. So, you know, like, but if you can see that, if I get it into the light again, let's get this light up here. That might make it a bit better. Let's get this light up here. Can you see there? You'll be able to see that there. And that won't clean up because it is under the microscope. It really looks scarred. And yeah. And I've taken a shot of the two gears and magnified it so you can see the two gears. I'll insert that here. And yeah. And I'll just, when I'm recording this video, I shall, with my mouse, go over where the gears are actually broken. So the two gears were actually broken, as I said before, and this screen needs to be replaced. So I've got another screen. I might as well go through the, get the things ready and set them up to replace this screen. Now, what I haven't done before, looking at the buttons as well, they look as if they've seen better days. I've got a spare button set I can put into this, so I may as well take the whole screen back cover off again and replace the screen itself. And this back cover looks as if it's been scored. I've got spares for this, so I can actually change the screen and yeah, the cover plate for the screen. So I'm just going to get myself all set up, and I'll show you how to change this screen and buttons on the back plate. Okay, some soldering is required, I believe, for the two cables that power the screen. The data cable should be okay, still to use, and there's two cables which go in. There's the backlight one and the data, but I'll show you how that separates out inside. Okay, that's it for now. I'll get back in a minute. Right, so I've got a spare back plate. I've taken this plate off here. This sits in situ like so. There's 6 screws holding that plate in. As you can see, this is a relatively good one. Only thing that doesn't come with it is the OK and the rotary button, because that sits on a PCB here. Let me just show you that. There, see that? It sits on the PCB, and these are all the little push buttons. And this was the original camera, and you can see the difference possibly between the two little panels and how they are, especially the menu button there. You can see the difference between them. They didn't clean up very well. I'm not sure you can see that. But anyhow, it just sits inside like so. You can see that it just sits in there. I've done the top one already, and they don't look too bad. They don't look too much difference. So you pull out just like that, and although the display one's a bit worn, so I'll replace that as well. As you can see, between the two, I don't know if I can get the hold properly. The definition on the buttons slightly different there. So put that one down. It all adds to the quality and the look of the camera. So put that back down again. Obviously the 2 cables will stay. We know the thing's working. It's just a matter of putting the all the 6 screws back in. I've got a spare screen and cable here. Is that there? Yeah. And unfortunately I did try this one in the back of the camera. It lit up, but it didn't actually work. And this cable is not sure if it's the screen or the cable's gone, but anyway, I can't use this one, although the plastic surround is a lot better. So I'm going to have to get another screen for that. So I'll just put the screws back into this assembly here. Just make sure it's all functioning. As you can see, that's what it looks like now. Yep. Display menu button. I'll just secure that in place, and it'll be on to actually trying to resolve the screen. Like I say, I have got a screen in my spares which I will dig out, but I think these things have seen better days, these little push buttons. But I'll get back again in a sec when I dig out the new screen, a replacement screen, and show you what needs to be done for that. Okay, so what I'm going to show you first is how to remove this screen. I'm not sure if I've done that before in a video, so this is one I want to use. Although there is some slight scuffing in there, is it worth? Although I don't, in the big scheme of things, I don't think it's too bad. I don't think that will clean up any. But yeah, this cover has seen better days. So basically we have to retract this cable back through this orifice, and to get that out you have to take 2 screws out from in here. Okay, and to get access to that you have to pop this little panel here. I can do that. Now the 2 screws are obviously out from the main body, so you just need to go in with a nice little thin blade and pop this little panel here. Let's get that out of the road first, like so. And if I get that screen out of the way, turn it sideways, it might be a bit easier, and then you can see it's actually popping up. There we are. And then you can remove that. Don't lose that, because you're going to need it. And here are the 2 screws which hold the screen in situ. So when you take it out, you're left with this, you see. There's the 2 mounting brackets with the cable. So the first thing to do would be, I would say, is to just lift the tape off of the panel, remove the pips, and then take the 2 screws out of the excuse me, out of the body, because these two screws are going into the back plate, the silver back plate underneath. Make sure I don't lose these two screws, because you don't want them to be any longer. You don't want to use longer ones. See how dusty it is inside there. So now this should actually remove now, and I should be able to just gently lift the last tape and get the cable through that hole. He says, come on, tape's back down again, and get it through there, like so. There we are. Gently does it. Now we know that cable's good, and I can put this to one side for safekeeping. Now it's just a matter of fact of getting this thing apart, and what you have is a screw here, a screw there, and if you rotate the mechanism there, you've got a screw under there and a screw under there. So let's see what happens when I take those screws out. I'm sure this shouldn't be that smaller. No, they should come out with this screwdriver. Very small, tiny little screws. I mean, they're easily distinguishable from the main body screws. This one is slightly rise apart this surround for the side. So that should be easy to replace them. Get that out of the way. And then we should be able to just prise apart this. Let's get a nice thin blade again. And just work it in. Separate that there. I haven't any nails. There we are. Do you hear that clip? And then we can come down here, and then it should easily clip at the other end. I'm not being too forceful. That comes off, and there you can see you've got these connections here. That should come out now, but you've got the two cables plugged in. Got that one cable there, and these two wires which are soldered on. I'm going to turn on my soldering iron, and when you see this, you've got a blue and a yellow wire. Now they're labelled up nicely for you. You can't get them wrong because there's a blue and yellow cable there. And the large cable here, I mean, that will just pop up, and same as this one. And this is where you want to probably be a little bit careful with the connectors. You don't want these to break. We know this board is good because it was working. So I'm going to pop this up. If I remember, no, it should come up. That should pop. Yes, it should rotate. There we are. Just rotate it up. Now I can pull out the cable. Yeah, this is quite tight, this one. It's definitely up out of the way. Maybe I'll get another pair of tweezers on that with a better grip. So look at this one. This one has got a bit of a grip on it. Just pull it gently. It doesn't want to come out. Why is that? It's definitely up. Well, this one should be easy, he says. I thought that was it. Yeah, she's up now. With perhaps power or something, you can take those out. So there's that one. Again, slipping. That's that one. And that's that one. Right, I'm a bit concerned about this big one here. She doesn't seem to want to come out very easily. Definitely got that lifted up all the way. No, she doesn't want to come out for some reason. A bit concerned about that. Leave that as is, and then come around this way, and this should be able to unclip from the top plastic cover. Now should be able to unclip from the metal body, like so. Oh, I just pushed it back in again. Typical. Get that off there. There we are. Get that out the road. There it is. Leave that as it is then. And here comes the screen. He says. And it's nicely stuck in there. Might be worthwhile making a note of which way round this goes. So the cable entry is the round half moving that side. And out pops the screen. Yeah, it's seen better days, this screen, that's for sure. Now, I'm not sure if you'd be able to see that, but it has seen better days. Do not use any rough cleaning pads, as it will scour that. Yeah. Awful. Right, I'm going to go and find, you can see all the dust that's collected in here, and the sticky tape. Not that it really needs the sticky tape, because when this is snapped in it stays where it is. But I'm going to see if I've got I should have a spare one of these somewhere. If not, I can use this one. Well, why don't I just do this one then? Let's do this one then, shall we? Okay. That makes sense. Now the drive electronics should be good. Now if I remember rightly, this one, if I can think about it, this one was all quite rusted. This might be my old... Yeah. I'm going to leave that one because I'm sure I've got a new screen somewhere. And it's safe in the box down here. So I put it somewhere safe, so I'm going to find it and then I'll be back.
Okay, so I've just put in as an addition the screen that I took out. As you can see in real time under the microscope, you can see how scored this screen is. It's been abrased with something horrendous, and it gets less. So if I go to an area where it's not so scored, you can see the areas there where it's less scored. So yeah, this really is really pretty bad. So I just thought I'd show that. And if I zoom out, give you another better picture. It's not the best, this microscope, but it does help to see certain things at times. Just bring it right out and then focus in again. It's a bit hit and miss that, but yeah, absolutely horrendous. The worst thing you could do is for an LCD screen. I wonder if they'd use the same on their TV at home, but not to worry. There we go. it is what it is.
Well, I'm not sure where it was I left off. I was looking for another assembly, I think. I did find a spare screen, or one that was a spare one I had. These are just drive assemblies, and I had spare covers and what have you. Here's an old screen I had. There's the old screen. If you can see that, where it's all pretty much scored. That's what it looks like when you take it out. And yeah, so what I've done is I put it all in, reattach the yellow and blue cables onto the assembly here, which sits with a twisting mechanism, and the yellow and blue wire there. The cable did come out eventually, very carefully, and then this screen ribbon sits in here like so. They both come down like that, and then the swivel assembly comes in this side, connects in, 2 wires soldered there, and then that clips into the frame, into here as such, and then you put the cover on this way. That's that cover there. The back cover then goes on here like so. And as I say, I had some wear on this here. Not sure you can see that either, but there's some wear at the top lip. This one is a lot better. So I have actually powered this up. It does work. So let me just show you. I've got the, on the camera here, I've got the single cable in. It's not routed through the back plate yet, but if I power it up, it's all insulated, don't worry. Just get that switched on, and you can see it, and it does work. I've got it on the flat at the moment, but you see a picture come up there. And if I cover the eye sensor, it will switch, and like I say, do get a picture on it. So that's good to be reassembled. It was a bit of a faff finding everything I needed, but I wasn't sure about this cable that was I pulled out, and obviously the status of that screen. And I know I have this one here, but the cable on this is I'm not sure if the screen's working. I don't want to try it in the camera yet, because this screen with this cable I took out of a lady's camera I'd actually tried to repair, and on the board here that connector was completely burnt out. There is a video on it somewhere on my YouTube playlist, and the end of this cable is pretty much charred. I don't know if you'd be able to see that, but it's pretty much charred. So I don't know if it was the screen that caused the cable to go, or if it was the board that caused the damage on the connector, and hence the damage on here. I more likely think it's the damage from the board that did this. But anyway, this cable is pretty much defunct. I can't use this one, but I'm wondering if the screen is okay. Now this would be a nice opportunity to test it in there, but if I've got a working camera, I'd rather use one of my own 2 cameras, like my IR one, which I don't use that much, if I really wanted to prove if this screen works. And if I get another camera that okay, the camera's all back together again, and I switch them on, and okay, so she's all on and the screen's back. Just switch them off again, give it a slight bit of a clean now. I'll clean it up properly in a minute, and with a nice and yeah, let's make sure she's nice. And the screen I did take off is here, and you might be able to see on that, that's the scratch screen. Yeah, you see that? Those deformations there, it's awful, isn't it? Might have a look at the digital microscope and see what it looks like. You know, let's get this up here in a minute. Have a look. A lot of scratches on right down that side. And yeah, so it was the gearbox, the screen was all scratched, and the rubbers. And yeah, I mean, I could replace the flash housing. There's a few little marks on there, but nothing to write home about. Could I do that in situ? Yes, I could. Take out these two screws here, and this two at the bottom as well, under there, and this whole thing pops up. And yeah, I'll probably have a go at that. A slight little deformation there, is there? It's like little something sticky. Yeah, just the grips. So yeah, with that, that's another one done. I'm happy to say all the buttons work. Yep, they all work. Wi-Fi, okay. Don't really know about that one. I'll hit the OK because I'm on moon mode. Let's see, press OK. Should extend that to the 83 times zoom. Give it a bit of a clean. Close the screen, power off. And there we are. I'll put all the screws back in and it should be good to go. Excellent. Many more years of happy use, I'm sure. Okay, with that, I shall leave it there. And thanks ever so much for watching.